Eduardo, for our next wine, we're going to be drinking a little bit more French for our Discovery Club set. This is a Baron de Hoen Gewurztraminer.
If you can't tell by the bottle, for sure. It's a
Grand Cru
sensation.
Mandelberg. Actually, by law, they need to put it in the shape bottle.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, that explains. That's why it's clearly well-designed
For the
aesthetic.
for the Grand Cru. So this is the flute d'Alsace. So this is that shape of the bottle, if you're ever wondering. And a lot of producers here and around the world use that to indicate kind of Alsatian grapes, right?
I have friends that make wine in Japan, and they actually use Alsatian grapes, and they use Alsatian bottles. So it does travel throughout the world.
It was a good pick on their part. They really have found a way to communicate what's in the bottle by the shape of the bottle. So Gewurztraminer, one of the noble grapes of the region of Alsace, Grand Cru. When you think Gewurztraminer, like many people, do you think sweet wines?
I usually in my head see a little bit of a perceptual of sweetness. Definitely, this one is the ultimate Gewurztraminer. Definitely, even without tasting it yet, just out of the glass, exploding with that geranium and yellow and white flowers and candied and ginger and saffron
So
and
much
lemon
going
and
on, right?
echinacea and I can keep putting things like out of the hat like a magician. Really, kind of concentration of aromas and.
Yeah, so this, and as it does make some of the great sweet wines of the world, this is a dry style of Gewurztraminer. So we don't see this often where it is really the driest expression of the grape, but it still has all of those aromatics and all of that fruit component, all of that stuff going on in the glass. And then on the palate, nice and refreshing. So
Absolutely.
really the best of all the worlds of Gewurztraminer. And from a place, and this Grand Cru in particular, Mandelberg, is almost half planted to Gewurztraminer, so they really are championing
in the
this.
Vosges Mountains in the background. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Grand Cru refers to a little more richness and density, so hence the color, a little more golden.
So there's 51 Grand Cru vineyards, appellations in Alsace, where we have Grand Cru in Burgundy that they're vineyards, we have Grand Cru estates in Bordeaux that they're estates, we have Grand Cru villages in Champagne. Here we have vineyards, and there's 51 of them. All different, and it's a kaleidoscope of soils there. So they're all a little bit different. They all have different plantings, and this one really speaks to the Gewurztraminer grape, I think, in a really beautiful way.
Another thing I found fascinating about Alsace, aside from it's like really mosaic of soils and exposures and grapes. Well, the history had come back and forth to Germany over the centuries.
It's like a hot potato with this region, back and
crazy.
forth, and this mix of culture, and that's why they, like the Germans, like they really love white wine there. And it is a sunny, dry region that can produce some really powerful white wines. But yeah, it's a really fascinating part of the world. It's making world-class wine.
Absolutely. Food-wise, I mean, this is something we would bring if we're going to go eat Indian food,
Yes.
curries,
Yes.
Thai food,
Chinese
food. I mean, it's really a token, right? It's something you pull out of your sleeve and try it with like an array of spicy stuff. Really tasty.
I also would love it with like a fruit tart, kind of at the end of the meal, where you have like really fresh peaches in the summer, where you have a nice peach tart.
Yes.
I think at the end of the meal, this can be incredibly refreshing. It's got that floralness, it's got that ginger that you mentioned. I'm thinking Japanese tempura.
Oh, stop there. This is delicious. Chin chin.
Cheers.
Enjoy.